Hey guys, this is Bruce, and today we're going to be talking about security analyst work in Denver, Colorado. Before we start, you should know that I have a complete course on how to get into cybersecurity and make up to six figures. Basically, I'm telling you how I've been able to do it, how I'm able to get all of these offers and all these opportunities constantly flowing in to me week after week for years, by the way. And I also have another course where I talk about how to do IT work and find these work from home positions. There's not that many, but if you know where to look, you can find them. So I talk about how I've been able to do that, how I've been able to find them for the last 5 years. All right, so let's get into this. All right, let's start from the top here. It says my name is Harpreet. Let's stop there. So a lot of the recruiting agencies are from other countries. And that's because these large organizations and companies, they hire these cheap technical recruiting companies from Pakistan or from India or from other countries where it's cheaper and they kind of do these mass pull-ins of people. That's why a lot of times you get these screeners and you get these technical recruiters who have an accent. So let's keep going. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just letting you know, just trying to give you some information if you've ever wondered why. So Harpreet, and he's from eTalent Network. I get a lot of emails from these guys. I'm in their database or something, so every time a job comes up that's related to any kind of security, they send me information. This is really good for you if you get into this, because they are basically a very good resource for me, because I'm always fed all of these different positions from all over the country, and in some cases even other places in the world. So all right, let's keep going here. It says kindly send me your resume. And then he gives me his email address and his phone number. And if you're interested in actually contacting these people and you have a resume, you can feel free to go ahead and contact eTalents and say, hey, here's my resume. Here's my talents. I'm a network guy. I'm a help desk person. I've been doing it for 3 years, and here's my resume. It breaks it all down. And so this is a great way to actually get these kinds of resources for yourself, that are actually, they're going to try to give them for your particular talents and or certifications and degrees. All right, let's keep going. The job title is Data Security Analyst, and it's for the state of Colorado. So that's state of Colorado is actually that's a local government agency here. So I'm thinking they don't really need you to have any kind of clearances. They don't need you to have need to be a permanent resident of the U.S., but that's probably it. But let's keep going. It's a contract. So Denver, Colorado. Statement of work. You're going to maintain systems to protect data from unauthorized users, identify, report, and resolve security violations. You may be required to have a bachelor's degree in the area of specialty of at least 1 year. So they're saying maybe we want a degree from you, but it depends. Probably it depends on how much experience you have. So these are really good jobs to get your foot in the door. And sometimes if you're good, they'll keep you. It's a contract to hire. Sometimes they'll hire you on full time and they'll allow you to actually go get your degree. It depends on how well you work with them and stuff like that. Anyway, let's keep going. The only way to know is to call these guys and figure out what this job's all about. At least 1 year or equivalent of experience in the field in the related area. So data security analyst. If you happen to have that kind of experience, then this is a great opportunity for you. Has knowledge of common use concepts, practices, and procedures within the particular field. Relies on pre-established guidelines to perform functions of the job. So they'll already tell you what to do. It's not like you're gonna walk in. They're gonna expect you to know basic knowledge, right? But they're gonna tell you exactly, here's what we want. Here's our guidelines. Here's our instructions. And then they're expecting you to just pick it up and say, okay, I've done this before. I know endpoint security. I know my way around endpoint security. Now, if you don't know what endpoint security is, then it's probably not the job for you. But if you know what this is, you've worked on it before, you have a very solid understanding of what it is, and you've had hands-on, then this is definitely something you want to listen to what I'm saying. Management of endpoint security systems and configurations. They're not mentioned in a specific endpoint protection system, so I'm curious as to which kind they're talking about, because you got semantic endpoint security. I think McAfee has an endpoint protection system. So let's keep going. Description. You're going to assist with the management and support of state enterprise endpoint security services including working with end users to find out resolutions for endpoint related issues. Monitor and implement all necessary updates to the endpoint security software. And once again, we don't know which one they're talking about. That might be for security purposes that they don't tell you what actual product they're using. And that's why you probably have to contact them. And a lot of times, here's the thing: if you've worked on Symantec before, let's say you've done work with Symantec endpoint security, and they have McAfee. So a lot of times there's so much cross-pollination on those things. Like there's so many things that you do here that you also do on this other system, that they'll take you if you worked on any endpoint security system. Develop methodology, documentation, configuration changes to the antivirus and endpoint security systems. And just to tell you, like, first off, I've not done a lot of work with security endpoint devices, but I can tell you this. I can tell you a little bit about Symantec endpoint protection system. Basically, essentially what it does is it manages all the antivirus clients. That's all of the little instances or applications that run on in a medium to large environment, or it could even be a small environment. Basically, let's say you have 10 computers, right? And you're in a network, and you have a server, and that server has a software called like endpoint protection management or something like that. That's usually something like that is what they're called. And what they do is, like, you as the data endpoint security guy or girl, you would manage that system and then send out updates to those 10 or 100 systems or whatever. You would manage that system. You would configure it. You would, if there's any updates or changes to that server, you would go ahead and be a part of the change management process. Meaning you would sit down in meetings and say, okay, we've got to update from endpoint protection 5.3 to endpoint protection 6, and here this change is going to affect us in the following ways. And I'm working with the team at Symantec or at McAfee or whoever to actually fix this or that portion of this system, to go through all of the changes. So that's kind of what endpoint protection. Like I said, I'm not an subject matter expert on that particular thing. I can just tell you what I've seen it do. Another thing it can do is, in addition to updating viruses throughout an enterprise or a small network, small, medium, large network, it can also do like some of them can do like threat detection, like where they'll look at threats that are out there, and then they'll have a signature that blocks certain sites. Like, okay, we know that this site is bad, so the host system, the workstation or laptop is gonna automatically block your access to certain sites, or it'll warn you, say, hey, this site is on our bad list, you shouldn't go to this site, or this site is trying to send you something bad, I'm gonna block. So it has like a built-in, some of them have like a firewall thing where it can block it. So you got firewall, host-based firewalls, you've got like threat detection type systems on there, you've got antivirus. What I'm getting at is that they don't just normally do one thing, they can do several different types of things. That being said, I'm not a subject matter expert on it. I've not done a lot of hands-on. I've done a little bit of behind-the-scenes management of those systems. So that's my limited scope of experience with that. But that's it, guys. If you're interested in this or my course, I'm going to put it in the description below. So make sure you check that out, and we'll see you next time.